Hello, 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 hello. All right. We should be G to G. Just want to make sure that we are all set. All right, so we're active on YouTube at the moment. Just a quick sound check. I think everything should be good. All right. There. All right. Let's go ahead and get TikTok in here. Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Welcome in. Gonna get everyone set here. Welcome in. As we get in, guys, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It'll boost the live, push us out to the FYP. Oh, hold on. There we go. Should be good over on YouTube. Should be good across the board. All right, let me start Twitch. All right. Welcome in, guys. We had to do some finagling just to make sure that everything was G to G as of right now, but we're working on making sure that we have everything set. Everything is going to be a lot smoother moving forward. I promise you, things are going to be a lot better moving forward. Absolutely. Guys, as we get in, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It'll boost the live, push us out to the FYP. Guys, this week on Late Nights, we're doing something a little bit different, right? This week is not about a specific community conversation. This week is about everyone. Welcome to Late Nights, State of Our Union. And we're going to be talking about a couple of different things, right? We're going to be talking about what's happening in and outside of the US. And we're going to start with current global status. There's a lot happening, and I want to hear everyone's voices on that. We're also going to talk about the dysfunctional home front. There's a lot happening within our country. We're going to talk about the midterm elections, the presidential elections, and last but not least, we're going to absolutely talk about what do we do moving forward. So, with that being said, if you are interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and get in the box. Go ahead and request up. We are absolutely opening up the box, and the interesting thing about this week is it's open to everyone. You do not have to be someone within the United States to join the conversation this week because this is something that is impacting the entire world. So, yes, this is the state of our union, but we are not excluding the globe. With that being said, let's go.
Yeah, this ain't your regular panel. Nah, we speak the truth. Late nights with Santana and Mama Jones watching. Better keep it clean. Let's go. Late nights, truth in the convo. Everybody get a seat at the table. From the block to the books, we mindful. No screaming, just dreams in the Bible. One mic, one voice, we build bridges from the heart of the hood to the world's big issues. Politics, pay, different cultures. But the real ones listen before they rebuttal. Late nights with Santana. Yeah, Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this is a purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot. But we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights, no static. No highlight reel, just the soul's reflection. No shade throwing, just connection. From streetwise truths to deep reflections, we turn hard talks into blessings. They say they run a game, we build new rules. We here to heal, uplift, and break the old rules. They kept us boxed in, divided by fear. But you find us lined up when the truth appears. Yeah, weekly topics, hearts wide open. No judgment, just motion. Real ones are talking, no cussing. Cause Mama Jones still watching, no fronting. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana.
Guys, welcome in. Tap the screen. Send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It'll boost the live. I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal.
Santana hold it steady when it might get hot. But we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Mama Jones watching, so keep it grown. Ain't about flexing, this is a purpose zone. Santana hold it steady when it might get hot. But we ain't here to fight, we here to connect the dots. Weekly topics, hearts wide open. No judgment, just motion. Real ones are talking, no cussing. Cause Mama Jones still watching, no fronting. Yeah, late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights. Late nights with Santana. You already know. Late nights with Santana. Late nights.
Hey, welcome in, guys. Welcome in. This is Late Nights with Santana. And guys, we are here to talk about the state of our union. And when I say our union, I don't just mean the union of the United States of America. I mean the entire globe. We're going to be talking about what's happening around the world. There is a ton to get into when it comes to geopolitics, but we're also going to be talking about what's happening within the country. We can't forget about that. We're going to be talking about the midterms and the 2028 presidential election. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about what it looks like moving forward. We have to figure this out. We absolutely have to figure things out. So if you are interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and get in the box. We are bringing people up. And as we start bringing people up, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. We are absolutely going to go ahead and get started here in just one moment. All right. Perfect. Just make sure we are set here. All right. We are going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to try to rotate people in and out as much as possible. But in the meantime, in between time, guys, keep tapping the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It'll boost the live and push us out to the FYP. Last but not least, guys, share the live like once or twice, but repost the live. Reposting the live is absolutely critical. Please, and thank you. Please repost the live. All right, we're going to go around the horn and we're going to do a quick introduction and we're going to start getting some additional people in here as well. So if you're in the request, hold tight. We want to make sure that we're getting people in And again, the special thing about this week, you do not have to be in the United States to join this conversation. You do not have to be someone who is, on the left, on the right, whatever the case may be. You just have to be ready to join this conversation. If you are ready to join this conversation, get in the box. All right. So let's see here. We're going to start. Irma, how are you? Irma, I'm going to send you a request to come off mute.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. Just having some allergy issues, but how are you doing?
Good, good, good. I am good. Thank you for asking. First and foremost, wanted to check in and see how are you? What do you think about the current state of our union? Not just the United States, but the world. Where do you think we are?
I think we're all a little overwhelmed. I think most people are just trying to get by, do the right things, provide for their families, and multiple governments across the world are just reluctant to allow us to just live.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. And the interesting part about that is it seems like when you say multiple governments, it seems like governments across or around the world are kind of in panic mode. And so it's super interesting, but yeah, absolutely. Perfect, perfect. Give me 1 second here. Um, food for thought. Food for thought. How are you?
I'm doing well, brother.
Wonderful,
Doing
wonderful.
well.
Food for thought. What is your mindset when it comes to the current state of our union?
Well, okay, so this is kind of one of the things that I was. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your show. I listen to you almost every day. And I was more wanting to question, like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, okay, so we see the current state, we see what's going on, we see that now we are already starting to ship back boxes with flags over them. What like what do you think, Santana?
Well, I think a lot, but I don't want to give my opinion just yet. I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to allow people to speak. I will say that it's concerning, but the reason why I chose to do this week is because I do think it's important, and I think that it starts with us. So absolutely.
So with the Ayatollah,
Well,
like,
I
and
we just want to do a quick introduction, so don't go too far. I just want to know
oh,
like what
yep.
your high arching thoughts, and then we'll get into it a little bit more.
All right, no worries, my bad.
No problem. Anything else that you want to add as far as like the current state of our nation?
We have so much separation through our nation. There's no type of I don't even think there's a type of mending at this point as far as our current state because it's become so left right, like everybody is against each other.
Okay.
It's
All right. All right. Hold tight. Then we'll circle back around and we'll get more into it. I think it's pronounced Ahmed. Am I saying your name right?
Yes, yes.
Ahmed, how are
How are you
you?
guys? I'm doing great.
Good, good,
I'm
good.
doing great. I
Ahmed,
hope.
what is your thoughts on the current state of our nation or our world?
Okay. To mention that I'm not an American citizen, but I
Hmm.
will share my own point of view. Actually,
Hmm.
like what your nation actually is doing right now will affect your economy. Will affect so many things after that. For example, like the taxes that have that actually has been paid to Israel, and what's happening right now. It should have just be paid for good economy, social insurance, and infrastructure, education, and so many things. I've seen with my own eyes so many homeless people just struggling to get food, to get just any sort of life supplies. So, and the thing is also what is happening right now in the Middle East will lead to just immigration towards so many European country, and also towards the United States, which is so many citizens are complaining about immigration and immigrants, and why is they just leaves this country. This action, like what's happening right now, is a result will result so many things that will happen in the future.
Yeah, yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's interesting to see how a lot of people don't understand that the actions of the U.S. is going to not only set off a chain reaction globally, but a chain reaction throughout the entire U.S. As a whole. Specifically, pushing back on some of those things that a lot of people say that they don't like. Absolutely. All right, perfect, perfect. Give me one moment here, and we're gonna grab one more person because I know there's a ton of people in the box. And I want to make sure that we are able to get people in and have these conversations. Let's see here. Let's grab Bear. Bear, how are you?
I'm good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Bear, what is your thoughts on the current state of our nation? Or I'm sorry, state of our union. I apologize.
Yeah, I got you. I think that we really just need to get back to being kind of like a together country. I
Mm-hmm.
think that everyone nowadays kind of talks about, oh, it's a left or the right problem, but when it comes down to it, it really needs to be a bipartisan effort to make the country better.
Okay. 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 All right. Perfect. Perfect. Give me one second here. All right, guys, we're gonna get into it. And one thing that I want to call out, YouTube. YouTube. I am gonna drop a link in just a moment. If you're over on YouTube and you want to join the conversation, you can. You will be able to join the conversation here tonight on YouTube. Now, the one caveat is we haven't fully worked out all the kinks, so you won't be able to talk specifically to the people on the panel. But if you would like to have your opinion heard, then once I drop that link, get up here. The people on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok will be able to hear you. It's just you won't be able to talk to the people that are currently on the panel. So if you're interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and get up here. All right, guys, just a couple of quick reminders for the people on the panel. Please, please, please be mindful of TikTok friendly language. What does that mean? That means we want to use words like pew pew, unalive, C19, mustache man, those type of words that protect not only your TikTok, but the live. Also, a reminder that this is a safe and friendly community. What does that mean? That means we don't deal with any of the isms, racism, sexism, classism. We also don't do any of the phobias, homophobia, transphobia, none of that. We don't play that on the panel nor in the chat. Speaking of the chat, please, please, please be mindful. Caps are for mods, and we want to make sure that we don't use caps because it will pull my attention away from the panel and to the chat. With that being said, please continue to tap the screen, share the live. I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1 cent gift goals. It will boost the live, push us out to the FYP. I'm going to try to be more mindful about getting people in and out. So if you are in the box and you want to join the conversation, please, please, please go ahead and get up. We're going to start getting people in here. All right. I'm going to come back to Irma. Irma, starting with you. Um, there's been a lot that's been happening, and we can talk about the things that are happening domestically. We can talk about the things that are happening globally. But more than anything, I think that understanding the instability that is in our country and now is shifting towards the global stage is something that everyone needs to be aware of. So, is there anything specifically that's caught your attention that's worried you?
Well, a lot of things concern me, but the way I see it is a lot of people are still misinformed or ill-informed or just not informed at all.
Mm-hmm.
I watch a lot of different lives. I watch Solid, I watch Jeff, I watch even smaller people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just there's so many things that we could be doing that we're not doing, but a lot of people are trying to get people out there and trying to reach out and trying to talk. And sometimes it's either like, oh, I don't want to hear about that, or, well, I'm not political, or, well, I just don't understand. And I'm just like, we can't ignore things anymore. We can't close our eyes and pretend that things are not happening,
Mm-hmm.
especially in our own communities.
Right.
And I think that's where we need to start, honestly, is within our own like local communities. Like, for example, I live now in a predominantly black neighborhood. And from what I've been told by other people, was this neighborhood used to thrive. It used to have a lot of things for the community that the community built. And, there was like a little kind of corner store thing, and there was a pool, there was this, there was that. And none of that stuff is here anymore. And I'm just like, it kind of makes me sad that I didn't get to experience that. But I'm also thinking about how can I help this community. I don't know how long we'll live here, maybe a couple of years, maybe even longer, but as long as I'm here, I still want to help. So one of the things that I've been thinking of doing is like making like flyers,
Mm-hmm.
more like pamphlets of like all the resources that are available to the city. And also, some people call it a blessing box or like a food pantry, but I would call it like a free pantry where it's kind of like just like a wood box or like a shelf where you can leave food items or like diapers or things like that for people who in the community may need that help but are too embarrassed to ask for it. So I'm actually thinking about where to, how to build one that's pretty solid because we get a lot of rain and we got a lot of wind, so it's got to be solid. But accessible to you, I need to put it in a place where people are going to see it and are going to be able to access it. So that's one of the, well, that's a couple of things that I've thought about. I'm also getting more involved with the local like Democratic Party here.
Mm.
Like Texas is already very, very red,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a Democrat, but that's like the closest to my beliefs. I guess you could say that um, align with what I think and how I feel about things. So I've been, looking into that, and they have meetings like every week. So now that I finally have a car again, I'm thinking about going to the meetings too to see how much I can do and get more involved.
And which I think that's a great thing. I think that understanding that starting locally before we address anything on a higher level is necessary. So I think that's absolutely a wonderful idea. All right, give me a second here. Food for thought. Food for thought. I want to come to you because similar to what I just said, right? There's a lot happening. So I guess the first question I would have: what is the most pressing thing for you? Are you more concerned about what's happening in the U.S., outside of the U.S.? Where are you currently?
So it starts within, right? It starts within. So there's already so much going on here that it's almost ridiculous. Like think about all those files. Think about like everything that's been subjected to like try to switch everybody's it's there's so many distractions that are trying to be made within
What
within
do you mean? Be specific.
so look at how fast things are getting processed and how fast they're getting surpassed. Like for instance, Renee Good, Alex Peretti.
Mm,
People are trying to just literally like surpass that like it didn't happen.
mm-hmm,
They're trying to make it like it wasn't a thing,
mm-hmm.
right? And then now we're going into conflict with other areas because other things about the files are coming out. Like everything's being so surpassed here that it's also being like publicized to, okay, now we're gonna drop things on Iran again.
Yeah, and like I think there's a lot to be said about the global conflict and how the things here within the U.S. actually affect the global conflict. I think that while we do know for a fact that the Epstein files are something that is wide-reaching, right? It's something that knows no borders. I think I would be a little bit remiss to directly blame that on what's happening, more so
But
than
okay, so
people looking to actually shift global power. So I do think that's a huge thing. I'm not saying that it's completely disconnected, but I would say that like I think there's a lot to be said about that. But okay, give me 1 second here. Um, I'm gonna come
what
to
about the UK? I'm sorry not to interrupt. Just what about the
what?
UK? Look
Yeah,
at
but whoa,
Charles.
whoa, whoa,
Look at what
hold
happened to
on one
Charles.
second. Food for thought. I need you to hold tight. There's a panel discussion. We
Yeah,
go
my
one at a
bad.
time, so
My
hold tight.
bad.
Yep. Ahmad, I'm coming to you. Ahmad, you have a unique perspective, of course, because you're not in the U.S. and you're seeing what's happening on a global stage. Um, how would you compare what you've seen from that's happening inside of the U.S. versus what's actually like the bleed over that's starting to really rock the rest of the world?
Okay. I think like I have a theory, guys. Like I think what's happening right now, they're trying to cover um things that mentioned in Epstein files. They're trying to cover everything about what happened in Epstein files, trying to take control of other countries, and also mm, do you know that the economic situation in the U.S. is collapsing right now, regarding the circumstances and what happened actually. So after it actually like forces them to take control of any countries that contains oil and gas. For example, when it comes like Venezuela and like Iran also at the same time. It is not only about just liberating the population or the people, our Iranian, but also it's about just taking control of gas and oil.
Yeah, I do like that's the point that I always try to make sure that I drive home, and a lot of people try to act like willfully obtuse as far as like the wars that have been started and perpetuated by the U.S. It always boils down to oil, right? It's always about global resources and being able to capture global resources, manage global resources, or there's a lack of U.S. Having direct access to it, and so you see a lot of that. So I completely agree with that premise. All right, 1 second here, Ahmad. Bear, coming to you. You said that you think it's time for us to, start to figure out a way to come together as a country, which I don't overall disagree. I do think that there is a lot to be said as far as the amount of people that are overwhelmingly negatively impacted and like what that would look like and how a lot of things would have to actually adjust in order to be able to get to that point. But I would love to hear your thoughts as far as like if we are going to make that actual leap, or do we need to start with focusing on what's happening here in the U.S. or like where do we go? Because it seems like what's happening around the world is directly impacted by the U.S., but now it feels like it's gotten bigger than just the U.S.
I definitely agree. I think that the US has a lot to do internally before we can really worry about what we do overseas. I don't think that, like right now, would you disagree or agree with the fact that our political system is very like unstable in how we get things done? I feel like there's a lot of things that are proposed, but one side or the other shoots it down when it could actually benefit a lot of people. But I also think that politicians and just people in general need to start looking at their communities, kind of like what you said before, because the way we rebuild our country is with the people, not just by politics.
Yeah, I do think that looking at the inner workings of our governmental system, our political leaders, like I think all of that is absolutely necessary. I do think that when we talk about like the distrust within the political system, like that's something that we have to take a look at as well. I think a lot of people within the country have they've been looking for something different. And that's why I feel like we've gotten to where we are because there is such a distrust in like the institutional politicians. And that's something that we are definitely going to talk about when it comes to like the midterm elections, the 2028 presidential election. Because at the end of the day, we need to be focusing on the things that's going to make us better as a country as a whole. And I think like that's the missed opportunity that we're starting to see as far as like people aren't as focused as they should be on regaining the trust of the American people and ensuring that things are happening that are beneficial for the American people. So we're definitely going to talk about that. All right, perfect, perfect. Give me 1 second here. So, guys, what we are going to do, just a heads up, I want to give a call out. So, if you are over on YouTube and you want to join the conversation, if you check that pin message that I have at the top of the actual video or the chat, not only does it have the pay links if you would like to support the live, but there is a link that you can click. It will bring you in on YouTube, and I can add you to the conversation. So if you want your opinion heard and you're over on YouTube, go ahead and click that link. You can come up, and everyone will be able to hear you. The people on the panel, you won't be able to speak to them directly, but everyone else will be able to hear you. So if you are interested and you're over on YouTube, go ahead and request up. We're going to start circulating people in and out really quick as well, guys. Holy smokes. Massive, massive, massive W's in the chat for Chris. Chris sent a $25 donation saying, thank you for bringing the community together with intelligence and grace. Chris, thank you so much for the $25 donation. You are absolutely, absolutely far too kind. I'm happy that we're able to actually hold this conversation. I'm really hoping that we'll be able to get an international look and also addressing what we have going on here domestically. W's in the chat for Chris, guys. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat, and I will read that out. Keep tapping the screen, guys. Let's get the likes up to 100,000 likes. I'm going to start circulating people in and out in just a moment. But Irma, I want to come back to you. You said something that's absolutely critical. You talked about starting locally, and you talked about like how you're trying to make direct impacts. Do you think the seeds that you're planting today is seeds that will actually grow to a point where things can actually change? Or do you think that there needs to be any other like bigger types of change? Where do you stand?
Absolutely. And I believe that we can do multiple things at the same time. I don't think we have to focus on one area specifically. Um, we can do lots of things. It just depends on, like, I know people have a lot going on. There are people who work two jobs or have a disabled family member that they're caring for or something like that. So I can understand that sometimes you can't dedicate as much time or money or effort to certain things, but I think that you can do a lot. And I'm very big on research. For example, I like to watch people videos from like all over the world, from like Finland, Japan, Scotland, and I just like to see things from their perspective, like how they live, how they do things, the cost of living that they experience, how it differs from ours, but also culturally how things are done. Like, for example, in Japan, the elementary school kids, they clean up after themselves,
Mm-hmm.
literally. Really have maintenance except for like to do bigger jobs, but they clean the tables, they sweep the floors, they do all that stuff. But here in the US, they don't do that. It's and I think that if we started doing more things like that, taking examples from other countries and applying them to things that we're doing, I think we would actually grow stronger as a country. And that's just one example. There's other things, how people do things. And I just think we can learn from other cultures and other countries.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I absolutely agree with you. I think it's actually necessary as well. I think it's necessary that I remember I had a conversation with someone way more wise than myself, but she said that like our country is relatively young, right? We're getting ready to celebrate the 250-year anniversary of our country, and there's so many things that have happened throughout the history of the world where if we wanted to actually be able to do successful things, then we could just replicate the things that have been done without having to go through the pitfalls and the downfalls that these other countries have went through, because we can use them as far as like a case study, right? So I think that's something that is absolutely, we need to start to take the good away from the countries that not actually take, but like take good things away as far as how they've been able to successfully accomplish a lot of different things, and we need to start to incorporate that more so into our country. So I think that you have it right. All right, I think you're on the right path, and I think that the direction that you're going is something that we absolutely need to lean into. But all right, thank you so much, Irma. I'm gonna switch you out. Okay,
Thank you for having me.
absolutely. Thank you. Food for thought. Coming back to you, so you you kind of are in a position that I think is super interesting because your position is more so one where you it seems like you have overall distrust for what's happening in our country because of the widespread misinformation, disinformation, cover-ups, things like that, in which I completely agree and understand. But my question is, what do you think is going to be necessary for not only you but people like you in order to like regain trust within the political system, and even like on a global level, hopefully regaining trust in the people that are supposed to be in power governing our country and our world?
I don't know if that's possible, man.
Mm,
Look at how much I hate to even say it like this, but look at how much we've been lied to
mm-hmm,
through our through our governmental, like, what is supposed to be the leaders of our country,
mm-hmm,
the peoples, right?
mm-hmm.
What do they say? How much of it do you believe?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have a percentage. I think that when you talk about what's happening globally, I think there is a sense of things that we know, things that we can't know, and things that are willfully being kept from us. So I think there's a delicate balance. But I
But you
think that
say that
even
with a security clearance.
yeah, you gotta let me finish if you're gonna ask me a question.
I'm sorry, my bad.
I think there's a large understanding as far as like if we elect people and we put people in power, then the people that we put in power have to do things that are beneficial for us, and that's the point that we're at. And for me, I take a stance that I don't care if it's someone with a D by their name, an R by their name, an I by their name. If they don't actually do anything that's beneficial for us, then they're replaceable. And that's the stance that I think that a lot more people need to be willing to take, instead of like pretending that it's a football team and like, hey, we won, you guys lost. And if we can hold them accountable, then maybe we as a country, we as a society and people will have the ability to somehow move forward.
So you try to fight this every day and you try to debate this every day. I watch, like I said, I watch you, dude. I appreciate you. Like, I really enjoy. But how many people do you see that do that? They pull that same presence that you just talk about, right? How many of them do you think it gets by?
What do you mean?
We see so much nonsense. You talk to these people every day, like Santana. How many people do you think you convince a day
I'm not
that
sure. I don't know how quantifiable that is. I know the actual reach that my platform gets, and I know the feedback that I get. I'm hoping that any information that I pass, depending on what's happening, right? Because there's a difference in
Yeah.
my reach. You can talk about the actual quote unquote debates, which might not be as beneficial or as productive as people would hope they are. Because when you talk about a debate, a lot of
It
people are just stuck in their own ways of their thought process. But when you talk about what we're doing here tonight, what this is,
may I
this isn't a debate. This is late nights, right?
I know.
This is
I
a
know.
panel discussion, and when we do with panel discussions, is we try to educate people, we try to provide community, we try to build up resources and build up people, and we try to pour back into people. So as far as like
May I
the people that
interject?
I talk to and interact with, for me, it's about like, yeah, sure, the debates, that's fine, but what we do here on late nights, that's what's important to me.
Dude, Santana, I think you are out of all of them. Man, I watch like a lot of them. I think you are one of the smartest people that I watch, that I get to listen to, that I like have the time of my day to get to like tune into your lives. I think you're amazing, dude. Like, you're so smart. And I just asked that question like out of full honesty. Like, because I get to see some of the guests that you interact with, and it's like, what is, how are they changing? What do they see differently? Like, look at what's happening. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about what our government is doing in like on the world stage right now?
Yeah. I'm not gonna answer the question. The only reason I say that is because I don't want this is kind of turned into like a back and forth with just you and I. This is a panel discussion with a bunch of people here, and I want to make sure everyone else gets an
Yeah,
opportunity to speak. So what I'm gonna do, food for thought. Thank you for coming up. I'm gonna
yeah,
drop you down, but I want to make sure that we keep it
yeah,
going and everyone gets an opportunity to actually share their voice. So I appreciate you coming up. Okay.
yeah, man. Thank you.
All right.
I
Thank you.
appreciate the time.
Yep. Thank you. Ahmad, coming back to you. Um, the question that I have, and this is really something that I'm really I've been listening to other people, especially other people that are outside of the U.S. and how they're starting to view what's happening, and there's a lot of people that are scared, they're worried, and they just don't know what's coming next. What are you seeing globally, and honestly, what are you expecting to come next?
Okay. From my own point of view, let me tell you, like, what is happening right now in the Middle East, it is not gonna stop. Actually, like, I'm telling you that so many plans has been released by Baby, the president of Israel. He declared that he wanna achieve greater Israel. So after Iran, there will be another country, for example, Syria. After Iran, there will be Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, so many countries until their dream will be achieved. That's what will happen, and they will never stop until they take control. They will take control of Iran and throw out Iranian regime, and just replace them with another government that will be just under the United States control. So when just Donald Trump asks them for oil or anything, they would just accept and not refuse, and that's it.
Yeah, I do think that a lot of people, the problem that I have, and I talk about this all the time, is the military industrial complex that we have here within the United States of America, and it's a perpetual cycle, right? And
Mhm.
since World War II, the United States has been that in that state where they're always constantly looking for conflict, looking for war, and that's how the United States continues to prop itself up, right? Especially since the shift from the gold standard. So I get exactly what you're talking about. I will say that it definitely worries me about not just like a global conflict, right? A global conflict would worry me regardless, but with the people that are currently in power, that's something that worries me even more. I feel like we have an incompetent regime that's in power that literally has no idea what to do. So I guess the last question I have for you before I swap you out, Ahmad. what's
Mhm.
the global outlook on the U.S. right now? Like when with you guys looking in, what do you guys see when you guys look at us?
Okay. I think like so many Middle Eastern and so many people from Arab countries, for example, they just they know so many citizens in the United States are against what's happening right now. For
Mm,
sure, we know that. But the thing is, so many people still supporting what's happening. Like they think that what's happening is kind of liberation, is kind of freedom.
hmm
So like it's a little bit complicated here. Words cannot describe, you know, our feelings towards what's happening. But just be careful. Like the next step is not gonna be Iran or any other country in the Middle East. I'm talking about China. I'm talking about Russia. China is a good ally for Iran, and China always supported Iran with weapons and everything. So for sure, like it's not gonna end up with with only Iran. I think some Asian country and European country will be involved in what's happening right now.
mm, okay.
And by saying by things that I mean China, I mean Russia, because they are a good ally for Iran,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I
also it
do.
will
I've heard that
affect.
same thing, and I wouldn't be surprised as well, because we can
Mhm.
talk about proxy wars, but I think that if escalations continue, then yeah, there's absolutely a chance for those nations to actually step in, and so I wouldn't be shocked. But Ahmad, thank you so much for coming up and speaking with us and spending some time. I really appreciate you.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you for having me here. Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful evening.
See you.
Guys, keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up if you don't mind. Let's get the likes up to 100,000 likes. Also, remember, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin to boost alive. It'll push us out to the FYP. And we have the daily gift goal right now, which is the little hi bears. If we can knock those out, that'll help as well. Last but not least, if you like to support the live, if you enjoy the information, education, entertainment that we provide here, if you want to keep late nights going and help support the community, please consider donating. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out, and that allows us to do what we do. Speaking of YouTube and Twitch, YouTube, Twitch, we are dropping the link, and if you want to join the conversation from YouTube or Twitch, all you have to do is click that link, and we have Rust Belt, who is over on Rust Belt. You joined from YouTube, right? Hold on, let me make sure I get you off mute here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Rust Belt, how are you? Up, I can't hear you. I think they can hear you though. Holy smokes. Why can't I hear you? Hmm. I know they can hear you, but I can't hear you. All right. Sorry. We're gonna have to hold off on that one. We're gonna have to hold off on that one. Sorry, Rust Belt. Can't hear him. I know. Yeah. Okay. So you guys can hear him at all. I know that you can hear him over on YouTube. All right. We'll work that out another time. All right. So I guess we're not going to be able to bring people in from YouTube tonight, but we'll figure it out. All right. We're going to keep going and introduce the new people on the panel. Secrets, how are you?
Hey, I'm pretty okay. Sorry I sound like crap. I have strep.
Ooh,
So I'll try to
sorry to hear
enunciate best I
that.
can. Yeah. How are
Yeah.
you? Have you been, man?
Good, good, good. Secret. Well, first and
Good.
foremost, thank you for coming up and hanging out with us. But I would love to know what are your current thoughts as far as what's happening either in or outside of our country?
Yeah, there has only really ever been one thing that I've agreed with Trump on, and that's putting America first.
Mm,
And it doesn't seem like he is doing that. Um, and I'm very surprised that MAGA isn't holding down on that stance. They seem to, uh, and I don't think they're being ignorant to the fact that they're being lied to. I just think that they're okay with accepting that they're being lied to, which I believe is a
Mm.
huge issue. I think MAGA has a huge ego problem
Mm-hmm.
that needs fixed. And then and only then can we, come together as a society and figure out what we need to do.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree, and I think that addressing what's happening in our country is going to be huge. So I couldn't agree more. Perfect. One moment, comrade, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Good, 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 comrade. What do you think about the current state of our union, either in or outside of the U.S.?
Well, I think what's happening inside our union is very telling about what's going on outside of it. Um, without going into everything, all of it's connected in one way or another. But I think domestically, we as a people need to get our shit together and
Language. This
start.
is late nights. You
Oh,
can't say that here.
my bad, my bad, my bad. Um, I'm gonna have to censor myself. I think that really everyone needs to get behind the people that still need a little deprogramming going on, um, and getting them to the actual reality before we can even start to fix any of these issues.
Yeah, yeah. I think as well, like there's going to be a point where some people are going to have to make some really tough decisions as far as whether they want to continue to engage in the things that they've done in the past, or if they really want to try to shift the rest of the country. So, like, yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, one second here. Coming to Mart Dog. Mart Dog, how are you? Oh, Mart Dog, I will send you a request to come off mute. Mark Dog going once. Mark Dog going twice. All right, gonna drop you down. Guys, if you are interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and request up. I'm trying to get people in and out as quickly as possible. Well, not as quickly as possible, but I'm trying to do better and ensure making sure that we get people in, because I know a lot of people tend to request up and they never get an opportunity to get in here, especially with the new 2 hour time frame that we're engaging in. And so, like I said, I will be bringing people in and getting more people in on the conversation. So if you're interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and request up. And a FYI, this is a global conversation. So if you have ever wanted to join the conversation, especially here on late nights, go ahead and request up. You will have an opportunity to speak. Let's see here. Line in the game, Caroline. How are you?
I'm good, and today I'm actually far more alert than the other times because I've
Good,
been
good,
awake for a
good.
while now.
What time is it for you right now?
5:20 in the morning, so
Mm.
in an hour I have to go to work.
Okay, okay. Well, listen, thank you for stopping in with us before work. Caroline, I just want to cut straight to it with you. What's Germany saying about what's happening right now? Because things just escalated fast.
Um, it depends on who you ask, but the younger ones from my generation, especially, um, definitely see parallels to World War II and how things escalated back then.
Mm,
And that's actually where a lot of anger is coming from right now.
mm.
Because, to be honest, um, if it were Germany who would have joined the US in what they're doing and not Israel, then we'd be labeled back to, you know, that
Schnazis,
since
yeah,
it's Israel,
yeah,
our chancellor is completely on their side. So a lot of people are a little bit angry about that.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, uh, is it uh, is it a situation? Because it's funny. I was on my way home today, and I was listening to Covey. I don't know if you know her, Athena, and she was having a conversation with other people from around the world, and I've been watching videos and I've been listening to people speak, and I'm watching like these other countries and people like in constant fear of their life because of the military conflict, and I'm driving down the street and I'm just like, it's a normal day for me, but I'm aware of what's happening. And I don't know if it's just a thing here in the U.S. where since there's no direct conflict, people are more willing to go about their normal day. But is it have people been treating it just like a normal day in Germany, or like what's the mood?
Um, Again, it depends on who you ask. So
Right.
the older generations, like those who were around during the Cold War and so on, see it a lot differently than us younger ones. The very old generation who still remembers early childhood with World War II is seeing it yet again as
Mm.
differently.
But
So you
I
have
guess
these
the
three.
with I guess the thing that I'm getting to is like, is there, and I guess you're kind of saying it, but I'm wondering if there's any like panic or if anyone is like, hey, we need to make plans or like, is it any of that?
Um, yes and no.
Mm,
So depending on the generation you're from, you're seeing the difference in behavior.
mm,
Like the ones like my parents who were around during the Cold War are just like, yeah, okay, it escalates or it doesn't. My grandma, for example, who was a small girl during the end of World War II, is stocking up like Germany's next. And
mm,
we younger ones, to explain, I was born in 2004. So I'd say pretty young still. We are more like, okay, not really surprised. It's shit, but sorry, I'm sorry.
everybody gets
It's
one.
bad,
All right.
but not really surprised anymore. I mean, we had a pandemic, then Russia, Ukraine, then Palestine and Israel, and now this. So we are more like, okay, yeah, nothing new by now.
Okay. All right. All right. Perfect. One moment. Renee, how are you?
I'm good, Santana. Thanks for having me on. I'm a little under the weather as well.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So that's okay. Thank you. So to answer it, the State of the Union, I would say there's no union.
Mm,
And that's just how I feel about just listening to that word. And I think we're effed.
mm,
Um, just as, you know, our country and the world. I was just listening to an economist and they were saying how what's happening now, the effects that it'll have is going to be detrimental that we haven't even seen.
right.
And at this point, it's like every day is something else, right? Um, yeah, and I'm just praying that in midterms we succeed because other
Mm,
than that, I don't know if we're going to. We've only been with him for like a year, like a little over a year. So my thought is, if we don't take control, then it's I don't know what to think anymore.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's all I have to say about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna come right back to you because you said it, and so like let's talk about that for a half a second. Midterms are coming up, right? And even more so, like the 2028 presidential election is coming up, but there's a lot around that, right? Whether we talk about the fact that Donald Trump has openly talked about nationalizing the election, whether we talk about, there's like John Fetterman, who is like basically a Republican now, Thomas Massey, who keeps standing with the Democrats. You have a faction of people online saying, like, if it's JD Vance versus Gavin Newsom, then, I'm going to vote third party. You have, Democrats who somewhat slinging mud at each other in Texas with James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett. There's a lot of things swirling around our political systems. Do you think the midterms is actually something that is like an inflection point where we can make any type of change? Is it going to be more status quo? Like, what do you think the the possibility of something tangible happening with the elections, in whether it's the midterm or the 2028 presidential election, especially because of things that are happening today.
I mean, those are all very valid, concerns. So are you asking if I think the midterms will invoke any sort of change
I just
that
want
will
to
be
get your
beneficial?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just want to get your feeling and thoughts as far as electoral politics as a whole, because a lot of people put stock in it, a lot of people don't, and so it just really depends.
Well, for me right now, I think that it's the hope that I'm hoping for, I guess, is what I can say
Mm,
personally.
yeah,
The hope that I'm hoping for. Because if there isn't a big change with it, then what is going to be next?
mm,
Where will we be next? And you're right. On the Democratic side, there's, like you mentioned, John Fetterman, like all these things. But right now, I can't. My thing is not to focus on that per se, but it's to really just focus on what's the next step that we're going to need to do in order to get the change that we need and take control.
yeah,
That's my focus.
yeah. Okay, okay.
So, yeah,
All
yeah.
right, perfect. Well, Renee, thank you for coming up. I'm gonna swap you out. Okay,
Sure thing. Thanks.
thank you. Secrets, I want to come back to you because I know that politically you get active. And so I kind of want to double down and find out what are your thoughts, because there's a lot happening in our country right now. And even more so, there are a lot of people that put stock in, electoral politics, but then there's a lot of people who don't even participate in electoral politics. And I know this is supposed to be the way that we affect change within our society. But if it's something that's, somehow being manipulated now, like, is that even a path forward for actual change? What do you think?
I'm not gonna lie, I am not too well versed on that particular subject.
Mm.
Admittedly, it is something that I probably need to do more research on. I've been more so focused on what's happening, I guess, geopolitically.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Well, have
so
at it.
yeah, I'll admit defeat. I'll admit defeat. um, I don't, I don't, I don't know if you want to get into it, but I don't think we should be in Israel at all. There might be some internal bias there from me.
Hmm.
I've got two. My son's dad is out there, and so is one of my best friends. They don't want to be. They definitely don't want to be.
Hmm.
And the things that I've heard from them uh, don't shed any light on the situation whatsoever.
Hmm.
Um, I I think that again, and I've said this before, America should put America first in most situations. That's not to say that I don't agree with us, like financially helping other countries
Hmm.
or giving them financial aid or aid in general, medical aid, food aid. Um, but when we have the issues that we have here in America that aren't being fixed, but yet we're so quick to help other countries, I find big issue with that. Um,
What do you
I
think
think that
about the
America,
U.S.
sorry,
Constantly destabilizing other countries?
can you give me an example? Because I do have my thoughts, but particularly, which ones are you referring to?
I mean, we can go specifically to what just happened recently in Venezuela with them, going in and
Yeah,
capturing Nicolas Maduro and seizing the oil, and then saying like, hey, the current leadership has to play ball or whatever the case may be. But the United States of America has a
yeah.
history of destabilizing other countries. And like for me, I understand the premise as far as like, oh, put Americans first. I agree, right? We should put Americans first, but at the same turn, like we can't, in my opinion, we can't go around destabilizing all these countries in the world, installing leadership. Like that's literally what we're trying to do right now in Iran, is install someone who will be pro United States. And the issue that we engage in a lot as a country is that we destabilize countries, we topple regimes, we install puppets, and then we just walk away like it's none of our business and it's just more conflict. So what do you think about,
Absolutely.
like, how can we be America first, meaning thinking about ourselves, when we keep putting our hand in the cookie jar?
Yeah, we need to get rid of our current president. He needs to go. We need to impeach him. We need to get rid of him and his entire administration. Um,
You think it's
uh,
just
as much
the
as I
Trump administration doing that?
No, no. I think there are a lot of like prior administrations that have done the same thing, or similar things. Um, I think that's not to say that I don't think that Maduro should have been kicked out of his place of office, or that I think that the Iranian regime should be in place. Right? I don't either of those things. However, I don't think we should be the ones to do that. I think that the fact that we are destabilizing all of these countries, one, uh, it doesn't look good for us, and then two, I think we're losing a lot of our allyship within other
Mm-hmm.
countries by doing these things, and I think that's very detrimental to us. We see numerous countries calling us out for the wrongdoings, and yet we still move forward with these moves. Well, I say we as in Trump himself. Um, I'm not. I don't do this. I don't agree with any of this. Um, I think it's definitely something that it goes back to my earlier position, in which I said uh, MAGA needs to drop their egos and admit that this is wrong. I know they know it's wrong. We just need to come together as a society, um, and do what other countries do. Like this happened. If this happened in like France, for example, their leader would have been kicked out a long time ago. I'm curious as to why we aren't making a change.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when it comes to the way that we do things here within the United States, listen, I'm not gonna necessarily talk about it on the live, but I do think that other countries, they know how to get business done when it comes to leadership. I mean, you could take a look at what happened in South Korea, right? I mean, uh, for some reason, the people within the United States, and maybe it's the fact that some people are okay with, you know, subjugation as long as it's wrapped in like patriotism, and they think that, oh, we're the land of the free, home of the brave, and not understanding that like literally we're given less rights and freedoms than other countries all around the world, but we're packaged as being the shining city on the hill. So I think there's a lot to it, but you know, I'll
Yeah.
leave it there.
Um, I definitely think that America needs to realize that we are not always the good guys. We were taught from a very young age, in all the textbooks, that we can do no wrong, that we are always on the good side of things, that we are always fighting for justice and peace, and that is simply not the case. It's not even a feasible. Um, it's not even a feasible thought to believe that America can do no wrong with everything that we've been involved in. So I implore people who are, MAGA, or who are on in the middle somewhere, to do your research on the wrongdoings that America has done, and know that we are not the greatest country in the world. We are not the dream that everyone, or at least currently, we are not the dream that everyone seeks, or that we're told that everyone seeks.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's pretty much it.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, I appreciate you coming up. I'm gonna swap you out, okay?
Of course, of
All right.
course. All right, catch you later, Santana.
Guys, I'm going to start bringing more people in. If you're in the request, hold tight for me. I'm going to start getting more people in just a moment. But guys, please, please, please keep tapping the screen. Let's get the likes up to 150,000 likes. Also, the daily gift goal is the high bears. Can we knock those out? Last but not least, if you guys enjoy late nights, if you enjoy the community, what we do here, please consider donating. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links and links are in the bio. Santana speaks for you. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat. I will read that out. Comrade, coming back to you. Um, I would love to hear your thoughts on uh, domestically. How do we address the needs of the people first? Because like we can talk about what's happening around the world, which I think that's super important as well. But we have like Americans that are here that like literally we're not taking care of the people. Um, we have people that are unhoused. We have like veterans who, go without. We have children who don't eat. But we have money for bombs and bullets and wars, but we don't have money to take care of our people. What are your thoughts on that?
My thought is start with the community. I mean, first and foremost, I agree with you. Like, there's stuff that is obviously happening here, but I fully resent and denounce the America First line at all
Oh,
because,
that's rooted in
yeah,
racism. Like the triple K.
racism,
Yeah,
imperialism,
yeah, absolutely.
colonialism. I want humanity to thrive. And when we think about humanity thriving and why it is not currently, it is because of the United States. It is because of our foreign, meddling and, like you stated before, coups. A lot of the reason we have the Iran conflict right now is because we decided to coup their leaders in the 50s,
Yep.
and it's gone on and on and on since then. And now we're dropping stuff on them because we want them to completely not just denuclearize, but we want them to give up their defense. We want them to give up their missiles. And that was this president's red line, was give up everything so they could be like Libya. So we could go in and decimate them, put in another puppet regime, and keep going on the next day. The reason people don't care here is because the people that are paying attention, like us, that know what's going on, have to go on day to day. We are built in the system where if we stop, we lose. We become those people you're talking about. We become in the breadline. We become homeless. If we stop our lives to do anything on an individual basis, we are screwed.
Yeah.
I think if people put any faith in anything, it should be in their neighbor. We should be educating those that have not woken up yet, who have been propagandized to the death, and waking them up to what's going on. And it's the system. It is not left versus right. To simplify it, oversimplify it, it is us versus them. I
Yep.
mean, Ghislaine Maxwell's fucking dad.
Oh,
Sorry, language.
language. You listen. My mom watches this. You gotta watch it.
Am I sorry? But her dad was, writing our textbooks that we still like, publishing our textbooks and things like that. We are not even educated on real history. There's no way people can climb out of this on their own, and people need to turn to each other and actually, as hard as it is to beat your head against the wall to get through to some people, to get them to even break down their biases, their programming, their brainwashing is going to take a lot of work, but we can't stop.
Yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree. Completely agree. Comrade, thank you so much for coming up. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and swap you out, and also, yeah, put something in the swear jar. Thank you for coming up.
Appreciate it.
Guys, keep tapping the screen. Do the wonderful things. Caroline, coming back to you. Um, I guess I would just like to hear your overall thoughts, just anywhere that you would like to go, because I always, I think that like we as Americans can always think about like what's happening to us, where we are, what's going on, in our country, in our lives, and things like that. And I think a lot of Americans lack the ability to see the bigger picture and how like the actions that are caused by our government is impacting people around the world. What are your thoughts, and what would you like to share with the Americans that are listening here today?
Um, I'd like to start by saying that I know that many have a problem with the two-party system you have going on over there. But to be honest, a more party system like we have isn't much better than what you have, because by now we have too many options, and they're all not really doing what they're telling us that they will do. Um, because you were talking about midterms. Um, Actually, my state is voting for the state parliament next week,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be a complete beep show because, yeah, actually, the current government is making it very easy for our far right to get more votes. So we are moving there again. I said it in other panels before. So our system is far from perfect. I think just because we are all humans and humans just make mistakes, there will never be a system that's really perfect or will always work, because we humans change. And with us humans changing, society changes. So politics has to change too. And that's actually what I admire about most constitutions. They are made in a way that they can still be changed. So I think what I really want to say is that we have to remember where we came from and realize we're not our founding fathers, be them American founding fathers or our founding fathers in Germany after World War II or wherever, and that we have changed and things have to change with us. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely agree and understand. I think that it's necessary for progression, right? I think it's necessary to have not only to be able to look back on history and have an understanding. And a lot of people look at history with reverence, and I look at history with an eye to be able to learn and be better. So I think that's a great call out, and I think that's something that people need to hear, because I think here in the United States, people like to hold on to their history and their traditions and all this other stuff. But if it's not progressing you as a people or as a society, then it's not really doing anything beneficial. So, yeah, that's just how I feel. But Caroline, thank you so much for coming up and hanging out with us. I really appreciate you.
Gladly. I want to add one more thing before
Sure.
you drop me.
Go ahead.
What I also want to say is that I think a very big problem is that even if it is a stupid sense of wording, but the winner writes the story.
Yep, that's
And
what.
I think many people just forget that. I heard it from the other guest, like, you were told, yeah, America is so great and we're always the good guys. Yeah, that's easy to say if you are the winners in basically every conflict there was.
Yeah.
And so I just want to add again, look into what actually happened. I mean, we have the internet, so use it and question it. Find the truth yourself, because they won't tell you. You will have to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. All right, guys. Again, I am going to be rotating people in and out. There's a ton of people in the box, but I promise you, I'm trying to get to as many people as possible. I want your voices heard. This is Late Nights with Santana, and we will be doing this topic for the next 3 nights. So if for some reason I don't get you in tonight, there's Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. We have shifted to a 2 hour window, and I'm trying to be respectful of the 2 hours, because I have amazing people that are helping me put this together and make sure we keep this going. But get in the box if you're interested in coming up and sharing your opinion on anything that we're talking about. We're spending time fleshing this out tonight, so we're going to continue to develop the conversation over these next couple of nights as well. Last but not least, guys, make sure you hit that follow button. We're driving towards 100,000 followers here on the main account. So look up at the top. If you see the word follow, you're not following me, hit that follow button. But this is the third account right here. Make sure you follow this account. This account is really important because we're going to start doing even more on this account here. So make sure you guys are following this account. We're going to be doing more lives. We're going to be hosting brunch with my creator on the third account. So please, please, please make sure you guys are following the third account. Noah, how are you?
What's going on? I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Noah, I'm good. I've been seeing you, chirping in the chat, and I'm not
I'll
even
be
gonna put the
chirping.
listen.
I'll be chirping.
You
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 know
know
it.
you know if we weren't locked in, I wouldn't let you do it. So I'm not even gonna say like I'm not even gonna point you in the direction. I'm just gonna say what you got.
Yeah, so I actually stayed in the request I was gonna drop. But I stayed in the request because there was some America First dialogue going on, some questions that were being asked, and I think some things need to be problematized a little bit. And this is no disrespect to the previous guest or to the questions that you were asking, but I think it's important for people to understand that like what we're witnessing right now with Iran and all the sort of things that the United States does abroad, like the destabilizing that you speak of, none of these things contradict the ideology of America First. They're actually like an embodiment of that ideology, right? Because the military industrial complex is a for-profit industry. Imperialism is literally necessary to sustain capitalism. It's what happens when monopolies develop and decide that they would need more markets and people to exploit, right? So they destabilize regions so that they can take economic control and maximize profits, right? So what we're witnessing globally right now, this isn't a contradiction of America First. It's very much consistent, right, with that ideology. The other thing too is there was a question asked, and I've heard this before, and I don't think like on its surface it doesn't seem problematic, but I think it's another thing that we need to like unpack a little bit, which is like this question of should we be helping ourselves before we do stuff abroad. And I want us to be clear that like the United States does not help people abroad. Like even things like US aid are extremely predatory systems that ensure that like a lot of the nations that we subjugate are perpetually dependent, right? Like none of the things America does is benevolent abroad. um and yeah, like what I'm asking for in terms of the United States, I don't want us to intervene. I don't want us to like help because I know we don't do that. The United States has not demonstrated itself to be capable of doing that. I just want us to stop, right? Like literally just stop the occupations, pull out the military embassies, remove yourself completely, right? That would do amazing things for the world. So it's not about, oh, we can't do both at the same time. Like we got issues here. We can't handle stuff abroad. It's like, no, we're actively doing things, like you said, destabilizing nations abroad. We just need to seize it and stop doing it, right?
Sorry. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that a lot of people don't. You know what's funny about just stopping, Noah? When we talk about like the actions that the U.S. have engaged in and the regime changes and like the pillaging and plundering of people resources and just all this other stuff, I don't understand how we just stop, Noah. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I have no clue how we just shift to a position where it's just like they don't do that anymore. Um, I don't know how that happens without a complete change in our society as a whole, right? I mean, like you could talk about the shift away from the military industrial complex, but like I think that I don't know, no, like how.
I mean, to be honest with you, like this isn't what you want to hear, but it would entail the collapse of the U.S. empire.
Hmm.
Because again, like the U.S. since World War One, because you mentioned World War Two, I would argue the greatest period of imperialist expansion was World War One and post World War One. Um, the U.S. literally could not function without the imperialist plundering that we engage in, right? So it would entail the fall of the empire, and I think a thing I think about a lot right now because I've been tapping into your streams, some other people on here, especially talking with people who talk to people on the right and how they're feeling about what's going on in Iran and stuff. And I already knew this, but it's like the U.S. is the most propagandized nation, got to be the most propagandized nation in the world because the way that I hear people regurgitating this stuff about Iran, talking about they're repressive and they mistreat women and all these things. First of all, it's extremely strange coming from the United States. We literally have a president who overturned Roe v. Wade, which is putting, millions of women in precarious situations, right? This country hasn't demonstrated itself to be like a feminist country. So this pretense of like we're going over here because they're doing all these things, there's protest repression. Like we've seen him pull out the National Guard. We've seen the things that have happened to people who quote unquote obstruct justice when it pertains to ICE, right? The US is in no position to make these critiques. And yet like somehow like there's millions of American citizens who regurgitate these same propagandized lines about these like backwards Middle East nations as if the US isn't the most like genocidal nation to ever exist.
Hmm. It goes back to what the what was being said. I mean, like they are looked at as being the quote unquote good guys, right? And since they're the good guys and they write history, then there's this narrative that can be written that like, oh, everything that we've done has been for the betterment of everyone, and democracy is this great thing. And so, like, there's a lot to be said about that. Absolutely perfect. Give me 1 second, Noah. Josh, how are you?
Good man, how you doing tonight?
Good. Josh, I want to give you the floor. What are your current thoughts on the state of our union, either inside or outside of the country?
Well, I watched the State of the Union address. What was it, last Tuesday? And from what I saw, there was just a lot of lies, um, and a lot of division. Donald Trump, saying that undocumented immigrants are the what is it, the poison in the blood of America. A lot of the same talking points, uh, blaming the left and total division. I mean, a house divided cannot stand, right? And we saw a lot of division there. And then, so Donald Trump said, um, "Oh, stand if you what was it? He said, stand if you stand with American citizens instead of the undocumented immigrants. You put the American citizens above undocumented immigrants," is what he said. And then they turn around and they go into war basically with another country in the name of we're helping lift this other country up. So at the same time, I'm watching the same people say, "Hey, we're going to put America first, but we're also going to go over here. We're going to mess with this country," when we haven't even fixed anything over here. We just told a bunch of lies and then made it seem like we're doing everything good. And watching the State of the Union, I remember what I saw some old clips here recently, um, and how they had the Dems weren't standing. Well, back when Joe Biden was giving a speech at the State of the Union, I think it was in 2024, he was talking about women's rights and stuff like that, and all the Dems were standing and clapping. Republicans all sitting. Now, last thing, whenever I watched a clip from Obama's State of the Union address, both sides were standing, clapping. And that's how I kind of remember politics being growing up. Was I see even though there's the Dems and the Republicans, they still, I felt like, agreed with one another and worked together. Whereas now it's total division.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about that, and more so the shift and the divide within our country, and the fact that there used to be a long-standing precedence of like trying to find a way forward and trying to find a way to work together. But throughout the years, we've seen like this complete uh, drawback, for lack of better words. So yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I understand that, and I think that um, our our political leaders are a direct referendum of as far as where we are as a country, and it always goes back to something that I've heard people say, and I completely agree. Um, like the country, our country isn't like this because of Donald Trump. Um,
Right.
Donald Trump is like this because of our country. And like our
That
country
too.
breeds people like Donald Trump. And until we actually address the issues that we have as individuals, and we try to work through a lot of different things that we need to address, like we're going to keep running into that same wall. But perfect. Give me 1 second here, Josh. 1 second here. Um, Really quick, guys. Debbie's in the chat for Caroline. Caroline sent a $10 donation. What I forgot to add: the slogan, if using Germany, could get you in trouble in Germany, depending on the context. Oh, yeah. That slogan, Germany first. Yeah. Like America first. Absolutely. W's in chat for Caroline. Thank you so much for that $10 donation. And I really appreciate you. Guys, if you'd like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and end the YouTube stream. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to the YouTube volume. Nothing changed. There were no adjustments in the settings. It just dropped out. So yeah, I'm just gonna end the stream over on YouTube. YouTube, I appreciate you guys. We'll figure it out. Please come over to um, TikTok, or you can go watch over on Twitch. Twitch should be good. TikTok is good. It's just YouTube's volume. So I'm gonna end the stream over on YouTube. Sorry. Let's see here. Ray, coming to you. What are your thoughts on the state of our union?
It's a big question, man. I think we've